The FA Cup, you must get a goal at the Cop end.
Yeah,
the way it works.
Obviously, delighted to get my goal. Don't know what it is, but yeah, buzzing to keep scoring.
What was the key when you came on?
I think I've been out for a while, 5 months, so coming back, first team football is a different intensity to any football, so just work as hard as I can, try and get into the groove of it, and then any opportunity, sniff a goal out.
Yeah, we saw you, of course, make a big impression last season in this competition. Has it been frustrating in a sense then not to sort of carry that on?
Still a lot more to do. Hopefully a lot more I can do, so yeah, looking forward to it.
You talk about young. Today, Rio Ngamoa, record youngest Liverpool starter. How good is he?
Not just that, seeing his feet, as soon as he come on, he's lightning. Yeah, so proud of him. I'm sure his family's proud too.
And overall for the team, you know, obviously, I think probably quite a few of the Accrington lads, the Liverpool connection. How was the challenge? What did they offer?
Yeah, they offered a lot. I mean, like I said, it's tough. First team football is a completely different level and big lads. So when I'm coming on, I mean, it's tough to keep the ball on, but it's a good challenge. I mean, I think I did well, and hopefully more to come.
Well, in all competitions, of course, Liverpool still you have to almost. I've said to the manager today, I have a role to play, I can help.
Obviously the manager's put faith in me today and I'm grateful for it, to be honest. I scored and I mean, like I said, I'm really grateful for the opportunity he's given me, hopefully.
This session after the full-time
whistle.
It
definitely wasn't a warm-down what he was doing after the pitch. We must have dragged him straight off to do the interview.
So they were sprinting from halfway to the Cop-end goal.
But what a great interview and what a fantastic young man there. So he deserved his goal and great to see him back after 5 months out. And like I said, really top interview as well.
Everything that you'd want to see in his goal, Robbie. He wins the ball back, he carries on running forward, you know, with real intensity, and then finishes really crisply.
That's what we like about him as a young kid. His attitude is brilliant. I think he's got a little bit of everything in his armoury there. He wins the ball, and he passes the ball. But you know what I love about him, and I think Nunes can learn something. Sometimes Nunes will get it and he'll pay the ball and then sort of hang back. But obviously Jayden Danns, he wins the ball and he's got an incredible appetite and a desire to get in the box after he's passed the ball because he knows something might happen. The ball might come back to you, and surely it does. And he finishes it one touch into the Cop end to get his third Liverpool goal.
Look how many Liverpool players in the box. I know they were 2-0 up. Look how many there were, 5 of them in the area searching for the third.
Well, that's the standards. You know, you see them all out there. They're all out there for different reasons, whether it's fitness, whether it's like Jayden there, it's an opportunity. They're all hungry. They know this is Liverpool Football Club and you get an opportunity, take it.
Difficult start to his Liverpool season. People think back to the Euro finals, the one at Wembley 2021 when Italy won it. He was one of Italy's stars in that.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot of injury problems since.
Yeah, I was at that final. He's a top player and had a few chances before his goal, but he's picking up a great position there, and it's difficult for Woods because he doesn't know whether to go out to him. You just think he's backed off, I'm going to take the strike. And like you mentioned, I think the celebration from the players and particularly from him, it has been difficult for him with his injuries. And even you're thinking maybe today would he start, but I think he's been ill the last few days. So for him to come on, get his goal, kind of calmness around him, great finish, and you want to see him now kick on for Liverpool because he'll be a key player at the back end of the season. He'll be a key player at the back end of the season.
What an option that is for Arne Slot.
Brilliant from a Liverpool point of view, and I think that's what you want. You want your squad, you want your players, and you want your team to sort of come in when needed. And they've done that today. OK, it's Accrington Stanley. Let's not make a big song and dance over that, but they've come in, they've done a job, and the players have done well for Arne today.
Absolutely. Let's hear from the Liverpool manager then. Here is Arne Slot with Gabriel Clark.
A win as expected. What did you make of the performance?
First of all, credits to them, because I think they showed their style of play. Same style as they always play, high press. We're not afraid to go to 1v1 as well. So a big compliment to them. And in the end, of course, the difference in quality makes a big difference for us. But compliments to them and the way they showed up today.
What did you make of the history boy, as we'll call him maybe, Rio Ngamoa, youngest ever Liverpool starter?
Yeah, I think he did well. There were a few moments where the fans could see why we think he's a talent. So he's really good in the 1v1 situations, fast, can change direction. We saw this a bit more in the first half than the second half, but I think it's nice to make your debut, to have a win, and he had a few very good actions where the fans reacted on as well. So it's a nice and special day for him.
Would you agree, Trent Alexander-Arnold, player of the match?
Yeah, not for the first time, I would say. Trent didn't have his best game against United, and that's everybody fell over him. At least it seemed like that. But for the rest of the season, he's been so good for us. So I like this performance, and I like the reaction of the fans at Tottenham and today again.
If he does go, and it's Real Madrid, I'd like to see anybody turn Real Madrid down if that is the case. Just say to the Liverpool fans here, he's been a great player. Enjoy him for the next 4 months.
Yeah, look, I think that's the narrative. If he does go, I think that's the narrative. He's won everything, and he wants to try and maybe do something else. People might sort of quash and argue with that, but he's done everything here at Liverpool. I mean, I obviously love seeing him here. I hope he stays. We don't really know what's going to happen. I want him to remain a Liverpool player because I want Liverpool to have the best players. And you know, for all Trent's arguments.
Great touch, and then, as you mentioned as well, no backlift quality. You can analyse it all you want, but when it's Trent, he's world-class, and he's a world-class finish.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, both of you. Enjoyed that. Very thumping. At 2-0, they did have a couple. We'll see them. Josh Wood's shot, which hit the bar, and then the Donald Love header, which is a really good shot. One of those goes in with 15, 20 minutes to go. You never know.
Yeah, like you said, you try and get back in the game. And I think the key point there was the relaxed. We mentioned at the start of the show the anxiety, but these are the chances. I think 2 short corners, actually, that really caused some problems there. Woods on the return, and then...
I was pleased for him because he barely touched the ball in the first half.
No, I mean, he had to do a lot of chasing back the first half and do his job for the team, but this is where you wanted to see him, and he mentioned it. He's in the right moment, and he just hits it. He says he fell over and didn't know what happened, but
this
is
the
second
Robbie,
one.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I think, look, again, they've worked it quite well, haven't he? Obviously, Sean Wally puts in a great ball. But for me, I think I don't think he times his jump really well. He gets there a little bit too late. It looks as though, yes, he should score, but he just jumps a little bit too late for me. He gets up a little bit higher and he hits it into basically an empty net, but he just doesn't jump high enough.
How would you reflect upon it if you were an Accrington Stanley player?
Just magic moment. Obviously, it's not the result, and you want to come here and try and progress. But at the end of the day, you're League Two. Some of the local lads there. We've spoken to Woods there, and what it means to the family, the friends, magical moments to play here at Anfield. You'll never forget that. And yeah, I think overall, it's a day.
I think for Accrington, there's a lot of good positives. I mean, if positives far outweigh the negatives. I mean, they've come here, they've put a good account of themselves. I mean, you mentioned yourself, Mark. It was 4-0. But they weren't embarrassed. And that's the good thing about the performance today. I think they all worked hard to man. I think they struggled when Liverpool started moving the ball a little bit better, a little bit quicker. But you'd expect that. You're playing against a team who are flying in the Champions League, they're flying in the Premier League. I mean, Sean Wally mentioned they're playing against great players. But I thought his performance was very, very good. And I think, I mean, Liverpool won the game. But I think Sean Wally, for me, was close to being named man of the match.
Well, the owner, Andy Holtz, really enjoyed seeing his team here, and of course he has. And the fact that they did have those couple of chances, I thought that was really important, wasn't it? That they don't lose 2 or 3-0. And their crowd have never had an ooh and an ah. I know you don't get anything for that, but they did in the end. Yeah. That was really important,
They were shooting towards the crowd in the second half, and you could see, like I said, they relaxed a little bit. You know, they're already behind, so it's just like, let's go and express ourselves. Let's go and see what we can do. And those chances were big chances, and they'll be disappointed with that. But like I said, overall, it's been a great day out here for the football club at Anfield, and you're making memories. And ultimately, that is what the FA Cup is about. You will tell your kids, your grandkids, your family, and that is it. And what jersey will you get as well from the opposition? That was what I was looking at.
Van Dijk, he was talking about Salah, who's obviously not here. He was talking about Trent Alexander-Arnold. Yeah. There'll be a rush now from the changing room, won't there? They'll be standing outside like the head teacher's office. Can I have a shirt, please?
It's brilliant. And look, we talk about the romance of the FA Cup. We talk at every cliche under the sun, but it is an unbelievable occasion. I mean, we mentioned at the top of the show how good the FA Cup is, you know, how mega it is for English football. You know, we talk about, you know, the manager coming in. That's his first FA Cup game. We talk about Chiesa getting his first goal here. Yeah. Jayden Danns, you know, being, I mean, you mentioned yourself, Mark, off screen. You know, I think he's the first player since Jason McAteer.
Yeah. You know, whose first 3 goals are all in the FA Cup.
So there's lots of good stories, and even Accrington have a good story. They've lost the game, but you know, they've got a little bit of money, and that money will help them stay and progress further up that league in that League Two.
some huge bonuses, though, you say, for Liverpool. With this, we're playing every 3 or 4 days now. Nottingham Forest of the league this week. The Chiesa finally has got a run and has got a goal. Jayden Dance has come off the bench and scored. Ngamo has shown huge potential. Harvey Elliott's got, good hours worth under his belt as well. So big positives for Arne Slot.
Well, he mentioned at the start of the show himself, didn't he? I think a lot of these players haven't played the minutes that they want to. So it's a case of getting them into the manager's thoughts. Now, he didn't really... I mean, they weren't unbelievable in terms of how they outshunning the game, but they've done enough. They've done what they needed to. And the manager has got... Not problems, but he's got thoughts about their next performances now.
Absolutely. 4-0 then, Liverpool through. The draw is after the...
Back had a great chance with a header, a free header from, 6-7 yards out. Should have scored, but fluffed his lines. Maybe just too big a moment. But as I said, decent performance from Liverpool. Accrington Stanley were competent. It was a competition. They were competitive. And so everybody actually goes home happy after this.
And no injuries, which is as big a takeaway as Arne Slot could hope for after winning the game, of course.
All right, let's get into the highlights here. We'll check out the 4 goals from Liverpool as they walk through Accrington Stanley, the 4th year right now, 19th in League 2. Of course, Liverpool atop the Premier League, so a pretty big gap there in terms of their position in the respective tables. 12 minutes in, Darwin Núñez from point-blank range fires it over the bar.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good move, a good couple of dummies. Trent Alexander with the first strike. Good save from the keeper. And Núñez really should be putting that in the back of the net. It's a half volley, but he skies it over the bar.
Frustration there for Núñez, but he do something about it here. 29th minute, Accrington Stanley threatening, or so they thought, but a quick counterattack from Liverpool. Núñez going to go on the run here, and a perfectly delivered ball to Diogo Jota. Liverpool 1-0.
If the effort before was bad, Darwin Núñez, this is the good. Liverpool so good, so quick in the counter-attack. Great ball by Trent Alexander-Arnold, who's very advanced in this position, and then doesn't have an awful lot to hit Darwin Núñez, but does so wonderfully well. Jota tap it.
That was a good goal. This, Stevie, is a great goal.
Yes, I mean, you can't stand off a player of Trent Alexander-Arnold's ability and not think that this is not going to happen. It's a super strike. He's got so much time and space to pick his head up, look where he's going to deliver it, and then look at the accuracy. Goalkeeper has absolutely no chance.
Trent Alexander-Arnold just before the half, putting Liverpool up by 2. 76th minute, Liverpool going to find the third. It's a 17-year-old Jayden Dance off the rebound.
Who comes onto the park, wins the ball in midfield, doesn't stop his run. That's important. Chiesa just tries a little dink over the goalkeeper. He makes a very good save, but because Dance never stops, it just falls nice in his path. Good finish.
90th minute, Liverpool looking for more. They'd get it. Federico Chiesa is first in a Liverpool shirt.
You know, he's not had a lot of luck since he came to Liverpool. He's had illness, he's had injuries. He's hit the post in this game as well before this goal. So he deserves a little bit of luck, and it's a good strike and off the post.
There you have it, the statistics from an absolutely dominant performance from Liverpool as they move on to the next round of the FA Cup, advancing past Accrington Stanley. I feel like we got to start with Trent Alexander-Arnold because that's what we spent most of the pre-game discussing. Some level of surprise that he was in the starting lineup. You weren't maybe all that surprised, but certainly if there was a message being sent, it seems like he received it.
Well, I think we saw what Trent Alexander's all about. You know, he didn't have to defend. We know his defensive ability is in question. I'm sure he knows it, but he also knows, as we do, that going forward in the other half of the field, this guy can be, and a lot of the time is absolute dynamite, and that's what this goal is. He just lights it. I mean, he picks his spot. There's nothing lucky about this or a gamble. He knows exactly what he's doing. He strikes it perfectly. You see the ball's not really moving that much. It's just got so much power, so much accuracy, and the goalkeeper never stood a chance.
Given the performance against Manchester United and then all the transfer links, do you think he will have needed that?
I don't think he would have needed it, but it's always nice to get something like that behind you, because there's no question people were talking about him in a negative way after the Man United game, and so to step onto Anfield today and produce that goal just kind of makes people forget about that performance.
But the thing is, though, it's Accrington Stanley, in all fairness, and for Trent Alexander-Arnold, a performance good, bad, or, well, not bad, not indifferent. A performance against Accrington Stanley, I don't think does much to kind of quieten some of the naysayers, given his previous performances. But it does give him a performance that he can now build on, that he can move past what happened against Spurs, what happened against Manchester United, and now look forward to what's to come. And just a couple of things. And again, it's Accrington Stanley, so nobody, including Trent Alexander-Arnold, is going to get carried away by it. The goal was an incredible strike. Take nothing away from anybody as far as that's concerned. The little ball around the corner to Darwin Núñez to tee up Diogo Jota as well. Those are the things, those little moments, I think, mean so much to Trent Alexander-Arnold in these performances. They won't grab the headlines and be splashed across the back pages like his goal would be. But those little moments, I think, as good as it was and as much as it was against Accrington Stanley, those are some of the touches, some of the differences that when he's on his game, you see and appreciate against the best of opponents.
Coming up for Liverpool, you got Nottingham Forest Tuesday, huge game in terms of the Premier League table. Based on what you see, obviously in this game, what you saw in the last few games from Liverpool, how confident are you in them going into that match?
I'm very confident.
Even with the fact that Forest beat them earlier?
Well, I think you have to look at that game in isolation, and you know, Liverpool have been about as consistent a team, never mind in the Premier League, but in Europe. And the first defeat against Forest at home, I think, was an anomaly. You know, it came after an international break. Liverpool had so much of the play, it was frightening, possession, you name it, but they got done on the counter, and sometimes it happens. This time round, it's a little different. Liverpool have got something to prove here to shut Forest fans and Forest up. And there's no question in my mind that Forest will sit back exactly the same way they did at Anfield, except in this game, I expect Liverpool to be way better in the attacking third, which they weren't in the first game.
A big game Tuesday then in the Premier League. Liverpool taking on Nottingham Forest.
Here at Anfield, they got almost the half-hour mark, as I said, Karen. And the irony is, and the disappointment from Accrington's point of view, their own free kick in a good position's actually been their undoing.
Yeah, you're actually vulnerable when you have your own set piece, but that was the case for them. Stayed in the game, as you mentioned, up until the 30-minute mark, and then it's just frustration. I mean, the delivery is not the best, but the annoying thing is, on the edge of the box here, they've got people to pick up the second phase. But what you can't do is have the negative passes and that type of pass, then that gives the best team, for me, in the world at transitional game, Liverpool, 3 passes, and then all of a sudden you took from your own free kick to seeing the ball in the back of your own net. So there's a delivery. When it comes on the edge of the box, you can't have that negative touch back because it entices the pass. Kumbeni there, that's a poor clearance, and then this is where it's the quality. 1 pass, then again, straight again, 2 pass, vertical passes, and then it's on a plate for Jota, and he's just not going to miss from there, is he? And all of a sudden you're thinking, oh, we've done so well to stay in the game, but that's the reality of playing.
Half hour. Dan Martin in the middle there, you can see 22, he knows that Jota's behind him, desperately trying to catch up.
It's a clever run from Jota, because he knows if he goes a little bit, maybe a yard in front, he's offside. So he just times his run, but knowing perfectly well that he can still get there ahead of, obviously, Dan Martin. But, you know, it's a good move from Liverpool. I mean, I know Karen's talking about the free kick from Accrington Stanley going into the box. If you look at it again, you look at all the big lads on the back post, and he sort of hits into the front post area, which, I mean, I don't think he's meant that. He's just sort of under-hit it. And then, obviously, the under-hit past, maybe, obviously, for Liverpool.
From Kumbeni. If you're going to miss it, you actually want to miss it long, don't you? Yeah. So that, it, you know, you wouldn't put yourself in trouble. Have a look at the Alexander-Arnold goal. I think everybody watching knows what a great striker of the ball he is. But it seems very little backlift here, doesn't it?
Well, he's got this. I mean, he's both-footed. He's effortless in terms of how he strikes the ball, isn't he? But you think there's a lot to do. You know, there's one area where you can hit the ball and he hits it. And I know his performances of late haven't been the Trent Alexander that we all probably love to see at Liverpool. But I think that goal will give him a little bit of a lift. And OK, it's Accrington Stanley, it's the FA Cup, but he probably needs a lift more than anyone. So Arne spoke before the game about, you know, his players going out there and obviously getting themselves sort of involved in the game. And Trent's done that. You know, he's been busy. He's been an handful. I think Liverpool have sort of worked the game out a little bit better in terms of RB Elliott staying out wide and Gamoa staying out wide that side. So Liverpool have control of them areas. And when you move the ball quick, you know, as Lucy was saying in commentary, it's tough for the opposition.
Yeah, quick and with one pass. Nunes is desperate for a goal, isn't he? I mean, he's a human being. You can understand why he's feeling under the pressure that he needs to prove something.
When you pay 64 million for him, I think you expect a little bit more. We mentioned it before the game. When you have to think, he has to think about things. This is where, you know, he's not his biggest strength. It comes to him, his touch is there, but concentrate, don't lean back, hit the target, and you're thinking that there should have been a goal. When he doesn't think about things, when he takes things by instinct, that's when he's good, but that should have been a goal.
I don't fall into the category of saying, like, you know, he's 64 million, whether he's 20 million, 30 million, 40 million, you've still got to do better. So I think we can hide behind the fact that, you know, he's a player, you know, who's maybe struggling for confidence. If you're a £20 million player, you get the ball, you know, under control like that, you know, 8 yards out in front in the middle of the goal. The worst you can do is hit it over the bar. You've got to make the keeper work. If they don't make the keeper work, then you are going to miss loads of chances. And that's probably the problem with him.
Now it's just a case of, can Liverpool stay awake and start moving the ball a little quicker and take advantage of the fact that, as Maka said in the commentary, Accrington look as though they're getting a little tired.
You mentioned it, just a beautiful goal from Trent Alexander-Arnold. Mark Ogden obviously witnessed it live. I wonder what the reaction was there at Anfield and what you thought of the first 45 minutes, Mark.
Yeah, I mean, the goal was what Trent does. He's incredible with the ball at his feet. You know, his set pieces or long range shooting. It was a fantastic goal. He celebrated it with a, you know, arms outstretched as if to say, look, that's what I do. And it was, you know, it was one of those moments where, you know, Anfield, I think, relaxed after that. I think at 1-0 you're still a little bit thinking maybe that Accrington can get a goal here. But listen, the atmosphere is very kind of relaxed and calm. It's almost like a free hit for Liverpool and a free hit for Accrington. It's a game that everyone expects Liverpool to win. They are winning comfortably 2-0. It's just an occasion where there's no real pressure on, but I think there's pressure on the pitch for certain players. I think we've seen, you know, Darwin Núñez has missed a couple of chances. Yes, he's created the goal for Diogo Jota, but it's one of those days where if you're a player like Darwin Núñez, Diogo Jota, you've got to do a little bit more to persuade Arne Slot that in a big game, a Premier League game, you deserve to start. I'm not sure Darwin Núñez has done that. I think obviously, you know, Rio and Guma on the left-hand side, a great debut, 16 years old, youngest ever player for Liverpool in the FA Cup, so he's been a real plus. I just think it's a game that, so far, Arne Slot will be reasonably happy, but 2-0 probably end up being 4 or 5 with the fatigue. But yeah, so far it's been a good day for Liverpool. But I think for the likes of Darwin Núñez, they need to step it up a little bit more.
Shaka, what do you make of what Agi's saying there about Darwin specifically?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, in all honesty. Listen, and we've seen this from Darwin Núñez. At times, he produces a physical performance that makes you think that he can be the answer to Arne Slot for so many of those questions. But then, listen, against Accrington Stanley is one thing, but against high opposition where chances are far fewer, far further between, you can't afford some of those poor first touches like we saw. The earlier chance with the ball over from
the rebound off Alexander-Arnold, where he puts over the bar.
Yeah, that was difficult. Right. It kind of comes behind him. You're not quite sure where the ball's going to fall. You could excuse that. The second one, though, of the Trent Alexander-Arnold save that comes to him, a cleaner first touch, it's an easy finish. And in all honesty, at the highest level of the game, you can't afford that poor first touch. And that, for me, is where Darwin Núñez, more times than not, finds himself wanting.
We absolutely saw what Darwin Núñez is in this first half. You know, the chance that he misses is way easier technically than the ball he puts across for Jota.
Really?
Aye, he's running at full speed. He's got a little window to play the ball in. It has to have the right pace on it. It has to be in the right place. And he's absolutely spot on with both of those, which makes it really simple for Jota to put it in the back of the net. But then we see him with that half volley. That should be that should be screaming in the back of the net. But this is Darwin Núñez.
Yep, he's not even put it on.